The poet laureate of Major League Baseball has died.
Psst. Hey, buddy. Want a PlayStation 5? I know a blonde chick at Staples Center who can hook you up.
And USC swipes a 4-star recruit from UCLA. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is Faithful Angelenos. It is August 3rd, 2022, and I must tell you I'm depressed. Genuinely saddened. One is because Vin Scully has passed away, and the second is because yesterday was National Boobs Day, and my double D wife is 2 time zones away. But we're going to get to the sports, because after all, we love talking LA around here. If you like the content we've been putting out for the last few months, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop new clips. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And by all means, comment. Because, hey, I'm back in Nebraska for a few days. Ugh. Now, before we get to the news and notes, a quick look at the scoreboard. Mookie Betts went 3 for 5 with a run, 3 RBIs, a home run. Dodgers 9, Giants 5. The Dodgers still have an 11.5 game lead in the NL West. In the meantime, the New York whatevers beat the LA Sparks 102-73 in WNBA games. Now, as for today, the Dodgers will play San Francisco again at 6:45. That's Julio Urias. He's 10-6 versus Alex Cobb, 3-5. The Sparks and the Liberty will play again. Why? Damned if I know. But that'll be at 4. And there is a doubleheader over at SoFi Stadium tonight. The opener, Chivas Guadalajara will play the Galaxy. In the nightcap, Club America will play LAFC. Chivas, of all things, is winless in Liga MX before these two friendlies. Now, yesterday I had to drop a couple of extra clips, as you guys know. I spoke way too much yesterday. Trade deadline recap, and of course the tragic news of Vin Scully. We'll talk about Mr. Scully in a few minutes, but let's go through some of the notes with the Dodgers. The first thing you should know, for all of the sound and fury of the Padres trades, I want you to know that LA's odds of winning not just the division, but a first round bye is 97.5%. I mean, I said it in yesterday's clip. I said it, I meant it. The Padres, yes, are trying to build a powerhouse, but the Dodgers are already a powerhouse. There's a big difference. Try to keep that in mind in the hoopla. Justin Turner, by the way, goes to the IL. He has an abdominal injury that the Dodgers haven't exactly defined that well. Uber prospect Miguel Vargas gets called up. Now, if you don't know too much about him, what I can tell you, he hit in 94 games at AAA. He hit 15 home runs with 72 RBI. May not be Juan Soto. Oh, but he can swing a stick. And by the way, Joey Gallo, one of 5 trades that the Dodgers pulled off, minor trades, honestly, that they pulled off before the trade deadline. Joey Gallo will join the team from New York today. Jeannie Buss, who runs the Lakers, said that her Twitter account was hacked. And I'm going to be honest. I mean, a lot of people say that their Twitter account was hacked, and it's usually crap, but I'm going to believe it. See, because normally when somebody's accounts get hacked, the account gets filled with spam, like nude photos. But we've already seen Jeannie Buss nude. So she says that it was hacked, and I'm going to believe it, because why see her all over again, right? FYI, the hacks were trying to sell PlayStation 5s, and I really don't think Jeannie Buss needs the money all that much. There are 10 dudes in their 30s who played for the Lakers last year who are still free agents. Unless, of course, Dwight Howard signed with the WWE and we didn't know about it. By the way, the only veteran from last year's Lakers to sign with a new team was DeAndre Jordan. He signed with Denver for minimum wage. So Yeah, not exactly a hot market out there for late 30s streak shooters. Defensive back Maliki Crawford is a 4-star recruit, and he previously said he wanted to go to UCLA. Now he switched to USC. What do I know about him, aside from the 4 stars? Well, not a whole heck of a lot. He's from Pacifica High School, and I must say, he had the most pimped out Twitter graphic on USC's account. Ray-Bans and shoulder pads. Pimpin', I must say. Pimpin'. With 12 games left in MLS, the Galaxy will, in fact, they are one step away from acquiring midfielder Ricky Puig from FC Barcelona. It's actually for free, which is very strange. Now, free to the club, FC Barcelona. They're still going to have to figure out how to pay Puig, and they have to get it done by the end of the day tomorrow. But I must say, for FC Barcelona, it's very strange. FC Barcelona is described as being in financial crisis. So selling off this midfielder, who's an attacking midfielder, who hopefully will help the Galaxy offense, it's kind of like a garage sale to pay the rent. Only instead of selling poop-stained clothes, you're auctioning off people. It's very weird. Soccer is creepy that way, I must say. Here is something you might not know. As we know, competition for spots on the LA Kings, it's going to be kind of fierce because LA's prospect pool is extremely deep. Now, former 5th round pick Alex Turcotte, 5th overall pick Alex Turcotte. He's had some injury problems and it's stunted his development. He did not pass a physical to participate in the team's annual development camp. That is not a good sign. He's only got 2 years left on his entry-level contract. You see, when your prospect pool is as deep as the Kings is, you really have to be on the ice and make a name for yourself, and that's the opposite of the way Turcotte's career has gone. For all these great prospects that the Kings allegedly have, some of them are going to be busts. Turcotte is edging toward that. I'm not saying he is, but he's edging towards being a bust. The Athletic rates the NHL's 50 best prospects. It's a very loose criteria that they have. You have to be under the age of 23 and maybe not an NHL regular. Defenseman Brandt Clark is number 12. The writer says that Clark is a unicorn who sometimes tries too much but can literally just take over a game with his abilities. And the 19th, or I should say the 15th is Quinton Byfield, who we've already seen a little bit in the NHL. And basically, the guy's acknowledging that Byfield hasn't taken the world by storm, but he's suggesting that if the Kings just show a little bit more patience, they will be rewarded. And the Kings will be showing a little more patience with the guy. Chargers center Corey Linsley says he's impressed with nose tackle Sebastian Joseph Day. You might recall Joseph Day was signed from the Rams to help boost the run defense, and also because he has a previous relationship with current Chargers coach Brandon Staley. Now, in camp, Linsley is obviously getting a close-up look at Joseph Day, and also a close-up look at how this change in approach on the defensive line. Remember, the Chargers' defensive line used to be attack, attack, attack. Now the defensive front is basically just trying to create a wall so that all the linebackers and the defensive ends can make plays. So he's seeing the difference, and he's basically saying Joseph Day is keying the charge. As for practice yesterday, which was again in pads, the defense once again dominated in 11 versus 11 drills, which suggests, look, this is 5 days now where the defense, which was once maligned, is beating the hell out of the offense? Are we noticing a trend? Just asking. So, I also put a clip last night, not just for the trade deadline, but for the passing of Vin Scully, because let's be real, that's the type of news that kind of makes the ground beneath your feet feel like it's about to tremble. The club announced the news during Tuesday night's game in San Francisco at Oracle Park. Scully called his final game there back in 2016, and it was just beautifully ironic, not just for that in the sense, but also because even though he was the voice of the Dodgers, he grew up as a little boy as a Giants fan. So, and the Giants, they were nice. The game was over. They put up a giant graphic on the outfield scoreboard, and the crowd stops to pay tribute. And the tributes have been rolling in. But I must say, when I was reading the tributes of Vin Scully, I kept asking myself about, two things: his legacy and the bond that man was able to create with complete strangers, people like you and I. A lot of broadcasters last night, like on SportsCenter and whatever, they said that Scully worked without a partner. And I just don't necessarily think that that's true. See, people like me, even though I actually met him, we did forge a bond unknowingly with Vin Scully. And eventually I came to the conclusion that the two things I asked myself about, Vin Scully's legacy and creating a bond with complete strangers, I genuinely think that the two are intertwined. It is true that his legacy is the voice of baseball's greatest moments. Not just Gibson's home run, but Hank Aaron's home run. Calling the games of Jackie Robinson as well as calling the games of Clayton Kershaw. The catch in the NFL, Montana to Clark. Vin Scully called that for CBS Sports. Koufax's perfect game. So we know that he was the voice of baseball's greatest moments. But it's also true that in those moments and in many others, he connected with us in the sense that he let us have our own say in the matter. A lot of broadcasters today can't shut up. I guess myself included, right? They don't take pauses. Scully used to take long pauses in these incredible moments to let us all have our say. In a sense, we were part of the conversation with Vin Scully. Does that make sense? Right? Like after Gibson's home run, Scully kept quiet for over a minute while the crowd went bananas for that long. And it gave Scully the opportunity to think and reflect and then come up with that follow-up line that is etched in baseball lore. In a year that has been so improbable, the impossible has happened. Conversations take depth when you pause to let the other folks in the conversation contribute. And that is something that Scully understood implicitly. And it's something that I think is his legacy. It's something that I think humanity would be better for remembering, myself included. He listened to us as much as we listened to him. And I don't believe that to be an insignificant part of his life. I believe it to be extremely significant. I do think that the more he put that into practice, the more beautiful baseball became to us. And I do believe if we put that into practice, our lives can become richer, more meaningful. And we're all looking for meaning in our lives. Something I hope you might want to think about during the course of the day. Now, if you enjoyed today's broadcast, don't forget to like and subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We are trying to build something here for LA Sports. I'm James. Thanks for everything, Vin. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Can Corte El Queso production. Take care.